But anyway, welcome to the one-off playoff Wenger Morghulis extra, whatever we're calling it these days. We have 6 faces on the screen along with a screen share in one of your windows. All 6 of us have something to play for in game week 38. One game week, one blow, 90 minutes of crazy football action. Quarterfinals were crazy. The semifinals, both in the playoffs as well as the loser playoffs, were pretty insane. Harshad very undeservingly won both the quarterfinals and the
Whoa.
semifinals. Does he deserve this luck going into the finals, or is this his moment? We'll talk about all that in the upcoming 30 to 45 minutes, or if Yuri decides to rant, it will take about an hour or an hour 15 minutes. But welcome, guys. We are all organized in, at least in my tile view, we are all organized as your playoff, against your playoff opponents. But Shikhar and Yuri playing the loser playoff finals. Not a lot to win, $50, but it's still something. There's no trophy.
It's
Rohit, who was
$125.
it's 100. Okay, yeah. What is money these days anyway? Rohit until almost 2 days ago was in contention for a double. Lost out in pretty much in the last 45 minutes versus Liverpool to Sham. But finally, he was number one for purity and still continues to be number one. And we'll talk about our matchup. And
What is
then
the gap between you guys?
I'll get to it. Suspense, building the suspense.
Okay.
And then finally, Sham in his fifth final.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn, fifth?
In Wenger Morghulis history, playing Harshad, who's won this trophy already once. And I've already mentioned he was lucky both in the quarterfinals and semifinals. He doesn't care enough
You
that
don't
he's
need to
taking
mention that.
vacations in a LTE-free, 5G-free Hawaii, sitting on the beach already, but still somehow managing to pull wins. It's neck and neck in all 3 fixtures as I was examining it earlier. Let's walk through each and every team and see what our folks are up to. Starting with Yuri versus Shikhar. Starting at the bottom of the barrel. Okay, so so let's start with Yuri. Yuri, how has the season been so far? If you were to summarize, what did you do well?
The season, first of all, has been utterly shite. I feel like I should have, at the minimum, been in the winner playoff, but such is life. What I've done well, I started off the season without all the super expensive defenders like all of y'all did. I had a feeling that, or I thought that because of VAR, there would be fewer clean sheets and they wouldn't be as valuable. And that worked out pretty okay for me. I didn't have TAA and Robertson, hogging up a lot of my money. The other thing that everything else, I don't know. I didn't do anything special otherwise. I loaded up on midfielders like everybody else does, and only started with 2 cheapest strikers. And that's fairly consistent purity performances, but somehow the age race didn't work out.
But you had a couple of wildcards to reverse your initial strategy, and you pretty much did as you went through the season. And you built, like, first of all, shout out to the spreadsheet that you built. You keep calling it the spreadsheet, but barring my data importing, everything was pretty stellar. And I'll put my hand up. I've taken the next 2 weeks off just to work on a portal so that I hang on to the audience as well as my admin share for the rest of the season. But Yuri, like, I was looking at the purity form table, which I actually think is a very good indicator for how the season's petering out. So you obviously started out in the negative, like you mentioned. You probably did. I didn't go back and look at your season, your game week 1 squad, but you were the bottom.
Yeah.
You were at the bottom throughout, and I have to say you are number 4 on purity. So your desire to qualify for the winner playoff was not completely unsubstantiated. It deserves some credit, but you didn't pick up until the very end, and it looks like your current team might be fizzling out. How do you plan to reverse it in game week 38
So I have
against
very limited
you?
options. I don't have any chips left. So for me, the only change I'm considering is Kane now going to protect himself now that he's decided that he's going to go to Chelsea or City? Is he really going to put in that much effort against Wolves? I think not. And then Aguero's farewell game is coming up. I feel like he's going to start and he's going to score a hat trick or something. So that might be the only thing I change. I think the rest of the team is a fairly standard team. There's not much I can do with it.
You do have just the one transfer left,
Yeah.
and you don't have any chips. How are you planning to make your transfers? How are you going to look at Kane versus Aguero?
Just gut. That's the only way I know how to do it. I've not watched either play or any of these players play for quite some time. I don't have any patience to watch a 90-minute game anymore. I only see those 2-minute YouTube highlights. So it's just on gut feeling. I'll go with one or the other.
Is Aguero fit enough to start?
I don't know. You guys tell me.
I was tracking the Athletic articles. He's maybe 20-25% fit. But again, this goes back to the contract, right? Aguero just signed, the rumors that he signed a 1-year contract with Barca. Now, if I were on the verge of signing a bumper contract where in my mid-30s, I probably, if he did get injured and if he was out for, let's say, 2 or 3 months, he probably won't get that new contract. So no matter how fairy tale the ending might be, I feel like even if he's able to roll on to the pitch, I feel like Pep and Aguero both, or Aguero's contract managers, won't let them sabotage that.
Like last home game in front of City fans for the highest scorer ever. I feel like it's more likely he'll start and come off at that. What's his number? 10, right? Number's 10. Yeah,
he's number 10.
In the 10th minute for a standing ovation.
Oh my
or something.
God. That would be hilarious.
I think there might be a testimonial match where someone like Pep would try those gimmicks, but a Premier League match against, I don't know. Like it's all a wait and watch, and I think one of the reasons why none of you guys have made your transfers yet, at least not that I see in the system, is probably because you're waiting until the deadline day to get those final last calls. But it's interesting. Shikhar, as a new entrant into Wenger Morghulis, you up the competition in your very first season. You were actually in contention for a regular playoff spots too, but somehow your season petered out in post-Christmas. How's your squad shaping up? What were some of the successes so far?
So I started off pretty well, and some of my differentials gave me the points in the early game weeks of the season. Like Adams gave me regular hauls. Dallas, I've been very lucky with Adams since the first game week. I think he's played every game week in my team this season. But where everything went down, I think, was my reluctance to buy DCL and Son. I just thought their form will run out eventually, and I think I paid the price for it.
DCL and Son, I think had very up and down seasons. There was always a right and a wrong time to buy them, and I caught the good DCL wave, but a terrible Son wave, and I've suffered. I should mention, for 38, you still have the triple captain chip, which I think is probably worth, at minimum, the floor is 2 to 3 points, and the ceiling is potentially anything for something like a game week 38. So that you have that trick up your sleeve. Do you have 2 transfers? No, it looks like you just have one transfer.
I have only one
free transfer
left right now. So very similar to what Yuri said, Kane is a doubt, and I was also looking at Aguero, but I don't think he'll be fit. I read somewhere that Aguero is not even confident of him being fit enough to play even a minute in the Champions League finals. So I don't know if he'll start the Premier League or play at all for the Premier League last game week. Although it will be a shame if he doesn't, being the legend that he is for City. I'm also thinking about Fernandes. I don't know how much playtime he'll get. I'm contemplating on whether to get a -4 to maybe get a City asset or another pool asset. I don't know. I think I'll take a call in the last hour of before the deadline, once all the injury news are out, and hopefully a team league comes out. I don't know.
So we have 3 Man U fans, 2 Liverpool fans, and 1 Arsenal, like yours truly. But the good point about Fernandes, I myself am a Fernandes owner. I am waiting for that team news leak. I don't see any reason why Solskjaer would risk Fernandes 3 days before that to probably his only chance at getting a trophy. This probably would also be his first trophy with Man U, right? Solskjaer's. I don't think he's won anything yet.
Yes,
So
it will be his first trophy. Yeah.
I suspect he's probably going to play a lineup that he played against Leicester. I don't think Greenwood is going to be a starter in the UEFA League. He might come on for about 20 minutes, but Cavani over Greenwood, and I feel he'll play Pogba on the left in the UEFA League. What is it called? Europa League. So he'll play Pogba on the left, Cavani center, Rashford will play that game, but I don't see a spot for Greenwood in that final. So maybe Greenwood has a good chance in the league game. But at the same time, yeah, I think that's a big question, as well as it could be a big differential between both of your teams. Yuri, I know this doesn't mean anything, but Yuri has Fernandes as well as Cavani in his squad, so he might need to do something over there. You just have to figure out what you're doing with Fernandes potentially, and you have that Kane conundrum just like Yuri does.
In fact, Son can also be an option, because if Kane actually doesn't play, they are going to depend on Son. I don't see Vinicius Junior doing much.
Why will Kane not play?
So there's just rumors about him talking out about how he wants to leave. So whether or not Mason or Levy will want to play him in the last game. Ideally, I think it's very stupid if they don't, because they still have something to play for, and they should just make full use of him, even if he doesn't play. He has golden boot to play for, and
he's going to play 90.
He's tied with Salah right now. Yeah. More than Kane, even Spurs has to fight for Europe, right? So
right. Yeah.
I think they should just make use of Kane in the last week if they can. But in case he doesn't, I think Son is another option for Fernandes.
I think Son would definitely be a safer pick, especially against Leicester, who might be pushing for that win and leaving a lot of space behind them. So Kane for assists and Son to run behind. Leicester's defense has not been leaky at all, but I think Son's a very good pick. But are you thinking that you would substitute a Fernandes for a Son?
One of the options, yeah, because you spoke about how Fernandes may not play, but I think that decision lies more with Fernandes than Ole.
Yeah,
I think Fernandes is the guy who's going to take the call there whether he wants to play or not.
Yeah. He's played a lot of dead rubbers this season, and except for that one match, I know you'll see the third match in that 3-match, or the second match in the 3-match thing where he didn't play. He's played in a lot of dead rubbers. It seemingly he just plays whenever he wants to play, and
he didn't play that game. But I remember he gave a comment where he said, before coming to United, we used to play for hours and hours, and we used to play every 3 days, every 4 days. I don't know why there's so much talk about 3 games in 7 days and all that. We can do it. So that is why I think Fernandes will take the call whether or not he should play.
So my general take is that Fernandes played the 90 minutes against Fulham. He didn't need to play the full game. He was really looking for that home goal against. There were a couple of free kicks. One was really close. The second, it was blocked by the wall. He was very disappointed for not getting those free kicks. And I think there was one very easy chance for Greenwood right at the end, which Greenwood should have put in. And he was very disappointed not to have that goal go into. So I don't know if it was this like itch to win or the itch to actually celebrate in front of the United fans in this like final game for the season. I suspect that practicality might overrule this random statistical thing of he's played in all 38 games this season. I suspect that Ole might just bench him if he does come on for the last 20 minutes. Number 2 slot is sealed, and yeah, if I were to bet, I wouldn't bet my money on a 11.3 star playing only coming up for a 20-minute cameo. That would be season defining. As I will talk with Rohit in the next section, but last transfers, Yuri and Shikhar, because so as I was taking my notes, both of your benches look pretty strong. Shikhar's squad generally has more fires to fight. You have Pereira, who's not starting, potentially not starting this upcoming game. Matt Phillips is a maybe. He got a nick right at the end. We don't know yet. Obviously, we talked about Fernandez. We talked about potentially, we talked about
I
Fernandez.
don't
And
see Shaw
actually,
starting either. I
so
think
who
Telles will
would that
start
be?
over Shaw.
Telles?
I think Telles will start over Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So let's say the
possible.
deadline were in the next hour. What would your transfers be? Would you take a -4 to clean up your squad? And this is your moment. This is your moment to get in Yuri's head.
Yuri doesn't care anyway, right? So
I'm very relaxed about this situation. I'm going to make my one sub. It's probably going to be, well, actually, you guys, after listening to y'all, I'm not going to do the Kane to Aguero sub. I think y'all have convinced me. So I'll make some sub. I'm against leaving my transfer empty. So I'll do something, but it's not going to be anything crazy. And I'm not taking -4. Definitely
For
not. I
some
guarantee it.
reason, I refuse to believe that you don't care because of the amount of grief you've given me about the spreadsheet and the number of times I've seen you visible watching each and every line of that spreadsheet. You actually do care, but you're putting up a facade that you don't care just in case you don't win.
I care about the league and the quality of product that we offer to them. I care about that definitely. But I also definitely care a lot more about that being in the top 9. Now this is like kind of like this Arsenal trophy, right? Like it's like the best of the rest. Oh, look at us, we have the most points over the calendar year. Or look at us, we won the Emirates Cup or something. This is not very motivating for me.
Yuri, you're in sales, right?
In what? Yeah, I'm in sales.
In sales?
What?
Figures.
Yeah. What is that supposed to mean?
Are you saying he's doing a good job selling his like sandbagging attitude?
Yeah, I think so.
I generally feel like Yuri is not just going to randomly make a transfer. I think he's going to put in some thought. Yuri has to fix Fernandez. He has to fix Cavani and potentially Shaw and Phillips. I feel like this is probably going to be a very even battle. Someone like a Bamford and Alioski. I actually do think if Alioski starts, he has a good potential to get returns, just like Dallas does. But he's a good differential. I don't know, like on paper, both your squads are pretty even. Both have enough fires to fix. I think getting a starting 11 who plays 90 minutes is going to be critical, given that, if there's nothing, if you really don't care, it might as well take a hit, right, at this point, directed to Yuri. But Shikhar, what are your plans if you were to make transfers as of now?
I think I'd switch Fernandez for, I don't know, maybe a Son or a Sterling. I have half a mind to get Mane. I don't know.
Yeah, so this
I'm
is
pretty
the
sure
other problem,
Sterling will
right?
start.
City,
Sterling will probably
who
start.
will start? You think so? Yeah.
I think Sterling, Torres, and I don't know, maybe some random, maybe Bernardo will start on the right. I don't know. But I see Sterling and Torres starting for sure. If this wasn't the case, my original plans were to get rid of Madison and get Torres, but I don't think I can do that now.
Actually, you never know. Madison might see. I don't know. The Liverpool fans might have some insight on this too. But Liverpool, Chelsea, and Leicester are going to be extremely tough games to call. Especially the Leicester game. Like, what does Leicester do? Does Leicester has to believe that one of Liverpool or Chelsea are going to slip up and play that way, which means they'll probably get the 1-0, probably hold back and defend that 1-0 rather than try to go for that final and then lose the plot against a very good attacking Spurs side, which has something to prove for Kane's last game. So if it's going to be that 1-0, then someone like an Iheanacho and a Madison may not stand a chance. But if they are going to go for that 5-6-0 bumper victory, in which case they have to have Madison hit miraculously hit form somehow in the last game of the season. He's been really poor since coming back from injury, and also after the incident where he was shunned out of a couple of games for hosting a COVID party against protocol. So I think that's going to be the call. I can never read Brendan Rodgers. He's always fooled me. I thought he would start an Iheanacho against Chelsea because that might have been a must-win game, but Iheanacho didn't come on until the 60th minute, and that just did not make sense.
I mean, Leicester were in the same situation, I think, last year or the year before that, where they had to beat Man U on the last day, and a really shitty Man U side, and they just sat back. They didn't do anything. Man U won comfortably. I expect them to do the same this weekend.
So who is Chelsea playing this weekend?
Aston Villa.
That's going to be tough.
That won't be a very easy game. So
That
even if Leicester win, they're not guaranteed a spot in the top four, is it? I think if Poole and Chelsea both win, Leicester out irrespective of that result, right?
unless they get a 5-0, which is 5-0 plus they beat Liverpool's goal difference. Whatever Liverpool add on further in this final game. So actually, like, which is why, Shikhar, I think you have a couple of fires to fight. Like, you have to second guess what Brendan Rodgers is going to do, and then play accordingly. You obviously don't have your bench boost left, but you have your triple captain, and I suspect. But any signals on who you're going to play the triple captain?
The most comfortable, I mean, the safest bet will be Salah, obviously. And considering I may not have 11 players to field without taking a hit, I may go for a differential. Still, it may be Kane, I don't know.
Even though Yuri does not have any chip, you may go for the differential.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't get 11 players to field without taking a hit, because see, let's face it, it's my midfield. Ward-Prowse isn't really a promising attacking option anymore. Maddison hasn't done anything for very long. And if I compare that to Lingard and a Mount, although I know Mount may not start again because of the Champions League, although they have a week's time. But I would say a Lingard and a Mount have more chances of giving returns over Maddison and a Ward-Prowse, and Bamford over Cavani, over Watkins for sure. And he has
Bamford
TA,
over Watkins.
And TA in the back. So, yeah. Over Sofal, definitely. So, my
Fair
captain
enough.
really has to hit the spot.
Given that you probably have a handicap over Yuri anyway, let's say it's a 3 or a 2-point handicap, even that will cancel out whatever transfer you have. So it doesn't really matter which player you play, or as long as the player plays the whole 90 minutes. I don't know. I suspect both of you could go even on Salah, both captain him, and then let your other differentials fight it out amongst themselves. But anyway, we've spent way too much time on the loser playoff. Now then,
I feel like you
Rohit, the man of the
time.
hour.
Yeah.
I did talk most of the time.
Why don't you
It is
go
my
now?
show, Yuri. But
Oh.
Rohit,
Yeah,
you were in contention for the double up until the last couple of days, and
Actually,
now you're
some-
stuck.
Loop through
Sorry.
the triple threat, man, without a chip. I think the other people, especially Rohan, was very unlucky. I think some of his players got injured at the last minute. I think Mings and Jota or someone else. And I think I just won by 4 points. If Jota would have played and Mings would have played, I think he would have gone through. So, and even I think in the end I ended up on same points as Yuri, but I had a better purity score. That's why I ended up 9th, if I remember it right. So,
And also thanks to Yuri, who coined the triple threat. Are you even in the playoffs right now?
oh,
Or actually, no longer in the playoffs, but like you're here to tell us the story.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it has actually in the end. I think Sham won quite comfortably by I think 14 points or something. But yeah, I think till the second half began of the last game, it was quite close. A yellow card here or there would have, or a clean sheet gone would have made a difference.
Yeah.
I think that was yeah, it was one of the more closer semifinals. You were right in contention till the end. You had you did get lucky with the Rudiger goal. You did get lucky with the Iheanacho goal, but honestly, you should have received a lot more for the Cavani and the Bruno Fernandes picks from the previous game. I was surprised you actually didn't go for a differential captain. I'm going to talk. I've done some research on your previous captains, and this might be the truth, or this might be just me trying to get into your head. But you tend not to captain the obvious picks. So all your previous captains have either been the highest scoring player, or the highest the player that costs the most, or the player with the easiest picture.
Yeah, I think someone has said, right, like never captain anyone who is playing against the top 6. So I generally go by that rule. So I mean, whenever I choose captains, I always look at who like who is playing against the bottom clubs or something. I mean, I think most of us do. But I also actually I'm a sucker for narratives actually. So if I feel that there's something like someone playing against their former coach and that kind of stuff, or last game, like I was really hopeful that Kane would really maybe score a hat trick or something, because I thought it would be his last game in front of the Spurs fans. But it was really a damn squib.
Why did you captain Kane then?
No, I chickened out at the last minute because I thought, okay, Salah, like the way Alisson scored the last goal and all that. So that narrative seemed a bit stronger, that it's destiny that Liverpool will win all their last 2-3 matches handsomely, and Salah has to be at the heart of all that. Maybe that's what I'm still thinking, because for game week 38, I might, that might be how I choose my captain, the triple captain.
Your triple captain, you're saying you're going to choose someone like a Salah. Why?
Yeah, I think because I still feel like, it has to be him who gets the golden boot. I don't think he wants to share it with Harry Kane, and Harry Kane might get at least one goal against Leicester side, who are trying to score 4 or something. So I think Salah knows that, and he will get all. I think he will be like this typical very selfish himself, like where he tries to not pass to anyone else, but sometimes shoot from an impossible angle, that kind of stuff. I think he'll try to do all those things.
Plus, you're 15 points ahead, right?
20.
20.
Yeah, can you tell us the difference now? 20.
Rohit is 20 points. Yeah, I will break the suspense.
So let Vikas take the risks, right?
Now.
Yeah,
Don't listen to Vikas, Rohit. He's just playing mind games.
Yeah,
I'm not playing mind games at all. I'm a complete open book. See, I've always mentioned my entire plan. I've stuck to my plan so far. I've told you when I'm going to play my chips. Done exactly that. No, but this is an interesting dilemma.
I have to bust that fake news thing that you do every time. You said
it is not fake news.
You said you triple captain Kane, and you did not that week. Okay,
no.
I remember these things. Yeah.
Fake news.
And you posted a screenshot. Then you had even the second one, which you did just before playoffs, was also like a fake screenshot, and then you changed players. So it's okay.
It was absolutely not fake. It was my entire strategy was out there. But anyway, no. See, that's the beauty of fantasy, is until the very last minute you're second guessing yourself. You're second guessing every single decision you make. And I fell into my own trap. I second guessed, and I look where I am. I should have won the double already. I was in contention for H2H. I was in contention for playoffs. Neither of them are in my hands right now. So I pretty much screwed myself over. So, like
Because are you switching to a sales job?
I am not. Why? Am I doing better than Yuri? Yuri is doing a better job at adminning and building the spreadsheets and everything. And maybe I do need to build that skill set. No, but this is interesting, right? But Rohit, going back to your team, so you essentially have a lot of dilemmas. So one of them is which goalkeeper you're going to play. Second is you have and I'm actually being very serious. I'm not like playing any mind games or trying to get into your head. For the listeners' sake, you have Fernandes and Cavani. That's another dilemma. What to do with them? Potentially Kane, like we talked about with Yuri and Shikhar, and also you have a big gaping hole in your on your bench. We don't know if Strike will actually start. So how are you planning to play your cards? You potentially have some money left over in your goalkeepers. Is the goalkeeper transfer to downgrade something you're considering?
No, I don't. I might.
Go ahead.
I think I told you the other day, right? I might actually triple captain Scott Cast. I actually think Edison might be rested to keep him in contention for the Champions League final. So Scott Carson might come in. So I think I might go that way. And then
actually that's not a bad option. I'll talk about my team in a bit, but that's something that I'm considering depending on the team news.
Yeah. And of course, the fact that I don't think Fernandes and Cavani will play even a single minute. Even if Fernandes wants to play, I think he will be kept on the bench unless really they need a couple of goals in the last 10 minutes or something, which I don't see happening. So I think they both, I need to think of how I can replace them. I can already disclose that. And I can also tell you the names of 2-3 players I'm considering to replace Bruno. First is I was quite impressed by how Grealish played against Spurs. I know Spurs are not exactly at the top of the game right now, but he looked quite good in spite of being out for quite a few months. And I didn't watch the game, but I have read that Pepe played quite well against, who was it?
You're not bringing Pepe in. You're just doing that to. You're just saying that to play with me right now. There is. How about this? I will, if you actually transfer Pepe in, I will donate half of the winnings from the Purity to you or a charity of your cause right now. If you show me a screenshot of you transferring Bruno out for Pepe, I will.
This is recorded.
I actually think it makes sense, to be honest. I mean, he scored a couple of goals, right, in his last game. And I think Brighton have a terrible away record. And I think one of them, who was it? Who plays left back for Brighton? I think that guy is not very good. Webster, is it?
No, Weltman is out for the game. I
It's
did
White.
see that. But he's on
White.
the right. I don't know on the left who they
I think this is quite straightforward for Pepe to score at least one goal or get a couple of assists or something.
Do you think he'll start? He did look good in that last game. I looked at him and I was thinking of an Arsenal player for this week, but I'm like, I don't know who's going to start. Arteta's a chutya. Brighton is a good team.
Sham, now our episode needs to have an 18 and above rating on
family
YouTube.
Friendly.
As it is.
Because you can't say things like fuck, asshole or anything like that.
Yeah. Hey, does Zoom have a bleeper?
No, it's fine.
No. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, back to it. You think Pepe will start?
I think so. I mean, it could be like he has been on the bench for quite a few games this season and he's showing form. So I think
they have nothing to play for, though, right?
They
have anything to play for? What?
They have an outside chance for Europa, I think.
Oh, really?
Not for Europa, for the Europe, whatever the conference league, ECL, yeah.
Actually, that's from next year.
Damn, I didn't know that. What position gets that?
Whichever position does not want it, it gets passed down to the next one. So I think Chelsea is like, no, we are actually okay. We'll get no European football. Then Everton will be like, oh no, we're building a new stadium. We can't do with more fans here. Arsenal, go just take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rohit, like in all seriousness, I was
Do you think Pepe will start to be very honest? Or you think
I actually think Pepe will start. I've been reading a lot of Arteta's interviews too. It does seem like Lacazette is on his way out, not because he's not been performing well, but mostly because Arsenal will get a good solid like 25-30 million for him, and he's been like under wraps. There is no way Aubameyang is going to leave, so Aubameyang starts. And Arteta's been really playing this whole summer ordeal that he's getting in a lot of players. I think Emi Buendia from Norwich. It looks like he's almost signed a contract.
You're getting Buendia.
I think so. Apparently, he's on his way to sign a contract to Arsenal. So it looks like the squad is getting built around these youngsters. You have Pepe. You obviously have the world class Saka. You have the world class Emil Smith Rowe. You have the world class Martinelli, and all of those combined, I actually do feel like Arteta. This is almost like his showcase game before next season in front of fans, or with everything going around with the Cronkies, he might want to bow out with a bumper. Come watch us next time. This is how we plan to line up. And Pepe, I have to say, I did watch the Crystal Palace game, mostly because I had Aubameyang and Emil Smith Rowe in the game, but it was Pepe who shined all along, and he looked like terrific on the right. And his very typical cut-ins from the right side and shooting all the way. And you're right about the Brighton defense too. Brighton's lacking. It's pretty lopsided. The defense is much stronger on the right compared to the left. Although Foden did score that wonder goal from the right, from City's left against Brighton's right. So I don't know. There are question marks across both wings. Under Stuart Pearce, like
Dunk is back. Dunk is back this
Is
week,
it
right?
Dunk back? Yeah, exactly. Isn't Dunk back this game?
he is back. I don't know how. And again, like I'm kind of the same in the same boat about narratives and like getting Arteta has a lot to prove in front of home fans. I think the reason I didn't play bench boost in the last week was because I had only 4 players playing at home. This game week, I am playing my bench boost. I have 10 or 11 out of the 15 are playing at home. So I'm really banking on the home fans giving the players a lift. So
Wait, so you
I
have bench boost left, and does Rohit have any chip left? Rohit,
triple captain.
Triple cap.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I have to
That's
say,
going to be interesting. 15 points, 20 points.
I am starting with a little bit of a handicap, not a little bit, quite a bit of a handicap. 20 points is not easy to overcome in a single game week, and I think Sham kind of hinted at it, but it's me. The onus is on me to play a differential, to go different with my captain, and I have a couple of options. But Rohit, before I go over my team very quickly, you mentioned a player you're looking at is Pepe. The second one was
Grealish.
And Grealish is a great shout. And the third one?
Yeah, I'm thinking one of the Chelsea guys, maybe Pulisic. I think Mount might not play or start. I think he got a knock against Leicester. So I'm thinking Pulisic might be a good shout.
Really? Mount got a... Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, what happened to Mount?
I didn't see it in the game, at least. I think he's still the best option for Chelsea. He's looked incredible. And he'll start. If he's fit, he'll start. He's the most important player on that team for them to get a result. Right?
Yeah.
Yuri,
Sham.
Huh? What?
Yuri still has Mount, right?
I have Mount, yeah, but I hadn't thought so much about it.
Actually, Mount is someone I'm considering for next season too, because he's your consistent 6-7 point scorer. He probably will never get a double point haul, which is okay. Like, he won't give you those really high ups and the low lows. He will get you 6-7 points once every 2 game weeks, and I honestly I regret missing him this season as well.
Is this the only video for next season also?
Let's do it. This is a continuation.
I mean, we have 4 hours.
We have 4 hours, plenty of time. Till deadline tomorrow, this stream is going.
But that's interesting, Rohit. Good shout outs. Who are you considering for triple captain and why?
Actually, I understand that I don't need to take a risk. I should actually just go with someone who's probably going to guarantee points. But I'm still thinking of going for a differential triple captain just for the heck of it. It's my first season. I'm at Leeds. The pressure is on you. You lost the treble. I mean, you lost 2 of your 3 trophies. So you need to get this right. I have nothing to lose. So I'm just
getting spicy now.
Damn, dude, I
Well
thought
said.
there was some Abhinav camaraderie going to happen over here. Like you would be
I
like,
like the new signings we had this season. Like everyone.
Yeah. No fucks
the
given.
new
It's like
signings.
admin
No,
upcoming.
no,
Is there
that
some
I mean,
deeper, sorry, is there some deeper rivalry here? Like, were you in Abhinav morning batch and he was an afternoon batch, and then like one was better or worse? I don't know.
we were in different divisions,
Okay.
You're doing
and
good.
my division was obviously the smartest.
Yeah.
But your mom
No,
also
but
taught in that school, so.
right, which does not bode well for my family.
No,
Actually,
so
so what do you guys think of Ferran Torres? Because I think he got hooked when Cancelo got the red card. So I think Pep might play him or start with him this time. So I'm also considering that he might be a good option, considering he like scored a hat trick in the game before that. So
Yeah.
He's so hit and miss though. He has got a lot of starts, and if Aguero's playing, then it's gone. Everybody's just passing to Aguero and shoot.
yes,
So
yeah, that's
like, I really don't. It's a very tricky one. The one I do like from City is De Bruyne. Like KDB, he hasn't played in 3 matches. Shouldn't he be playing something before a Champions League final or like?
yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
He's the one guy.
Anyway, where I did want to save a lot of time. Sorry, go ahead, Rohit. Final comment.
Sorry, go ahead. I think if you are running out of time, I mean, you can just.
I'm not running out of time. I want to be the Barkhadat and like keep pushing people. Okay, final comment, Rohit. Final comment.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm going to go for a differential triple captain. I'll give you that. So I think you can spend the next 33 hours just guessing who it will be. And then you can align your strategy accordingly because you have to make up 20 points.
I do. So okay. So I'll try to summarize my strategy very quickly. So I know I have to go different. I basically I've done all my research on you. I know that you go for your very canonical captains. I suspect you'll go for Salah. Even if you don't go for Salah, I still have to play my own game because I do have a couple of differentials. So I'll tell you where my fires are. Melier, how you pronounce his name, he's not starting. I don't think Foster is starting either. I have my bench boost, so I need at least one goalkeeper out of the two. Hesitant about Fernandes starting, but everybody else looks pretty set in my team. I do suspect Iheanacho has a good chance. So he's not going anywhere. So, and I have 2 free transfers. So one transfer was going to be to get a playing like 100% sure shot goalie. And I know Melier is not going to play because not Iker Casillas, whatever the other Casillas on Leeds Steve is going to start. So one transfer will be Melier out. I don't know who I'm going to bring in. Although I do need to make a midfield transfer, and currently the only midfield transfer I'm looking at is Fernandes. And KDB is a player I'm looking at. He did not get any minutes in the last 4 weeks, and it looks like Yuri and Sham have a side conversation going. They're smiling at each other. But anyway, KDB is going to is top of my watch list. I'm probably going to get him. I don't know what I'm going to do with the goalie yet. Wait, what are you guys laughing about?
we just like enjoying this rivalry, like you versus Rohit, the Abhinav rivalry. Winner gets the Law College volleyball court for half an hour.
It's so intense.
Volleyball.
Vikas, what gap did you overcome last year in the last game? Do you
I
remember
didn't have a
what the
gap.
gap
was leading. I was leading in the
No,
last
dude.
game.
I think you had a gap, right? Purity gap.
No, I overcame that gap in our semi-final, the Pulisic. I went into the semi-final with a 25 point gap, but then Pulisic came with a wonder 18 point, 2 goals, 1 assist, which was great. But
who was second in purity?
Harshad.
I was, yeah.
Last year. But
But
not,
I also lost
not
the
by
playoff semi-final to him.
Yeah, last minute. But anyway, so yeah, the only 2 transfers I'm considering are Melier out and Fernandes out. Who comes in is a big question mark. I'm thinking about KDB. I do want to bet on City assets because I do feel like Torres, if he plays and scores and does well, has a really good chance for featuring in the Champions League, and Pep might dangle that carrot in front of him to get a good performance out of him. KDB is a really good shout because KDB hasn't played and he needs minutes. Although I am wary that he might get yanked off after getting his, typical 60 minutes, or not even that. Like, Pep doesn't care about the 60-minute clock. So he might get yanked off early, which means that, I might be wasting a transfer as well as getting a player that expensive who's not going to play. So I'm considering those are my current options. Another one I'm considering is Rafinha. I do, with Melier gone, I will be freeing up a lead spot, and I know, like, the fixture currently I have listed as the one with the most number of goals is that Leeds fixture. So I do want to play with 3 Leeds attackers, and I'm considering Dallas as an attacker. But anyway, those are the things in my mind right now. If you were to ask me at this moment, Melier out for Edison, and I'm considering
KDB.
Fernandez in for KDB, and I have just the right amount of money to make that transfer. And I'm obviously, my captain. I'm not going to risk it with him because I have Aubameyang as my key differential, who I actually think is going to play on the left, where City were getting most of the chances against Brighton. Anyway,
actually, with KDB. I always think he's a very good option in the long term because he always gets assists and all that. But for a one-off game, you really expect him to have a double-digit score or something? I mean, you can definitely go for someone who is more explosive just in a one-off game. Right? I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right, and it's also like Everton have things to play for. They're away from. It's not an easy game, and so. I mean, he just, like, in terms of who will start, it looks like he's the guy who'll start. But is he the guy you go for compared to other guys? Yeah, that's
probably not. The one thing that's on my mind, he's probably not explosive, but KDB, if he gets an assist, if he gets a goal, he's sure shot for 3 bonus points. He's also on penalties. He'll probably be on penalties if Aguero is not on the pitch. So that's another thing that's playing on my mind. And Everton have to go for it, which means he'll leave a lot of room for the high flyers. Like, if Mendy plays on the left, KDB will be more central and he'll be in a more shooting in a more shooting role. So that's the only thing that's playing on my mind. But I don't know. I'm going to have to play between Torres, KDB, and Rafinha. And I'm probably not going to take a hit. But anyway, the game of the season.
Yeah.
We have 2 people who are acquainted with what a final looks like. One of them has tasted glory. One of them has not 5 times.
No, what are you
saying?
Actually,
no, Sham did win. Sham did win.
I won it once, but there was no boot that year for that.
There was no boot.
Boot was for the H2H, as Vicky reminds me every month. So, yeah.
So Sham has the most number of trophies in the group, right? These are Pep.
How about this? Why don't we do a reverse this time? Sham, instead of talking about your team, talk about Harshad's team, and Harshad talk about Sham's.
Why don't you
Let's start
with both our teams?
Yeah.
No, Sham. I'll give my con. Don't worry. My words are of like they're heavy and they're very valuable. So don't worry. I'll sprinkle them here or there. So Sham, how would you play against Harshad's team, which has a lot of fires to fight?
It doesn't have a lot of fires to fight. I looked at his team this morning and I was looking at the games, and I want to ask you guys these questions. Like, this is game week 38. There are always those crazy open games where somebody scores a hat trick, and like the big hauls, they're like 15, 20 pointers from some players. I was looking through the games and I can't make up my mind I can't pick those games at all. Like, seriously, one is because there's so many teams with actually something to play for where they just need a win. So will they go for everything, or they'll try and get a lead and, just control the game? The only game, okay, Leeds West Brom is a kind of obvious one, fine. And that should be open. But what are the games here are open? I don't know. Fulham can't attack, so like that was the trouble I was having. Like even thinking about Leicester, Spurs,
West Ham, Southampton.
They both have stuff to play for. So
West Ham, Southampton. So West Ham, at least from what I've seen from Moyes this season, if they get that early goal, they will sit back and try to hit on the counter. And Southampton like worked so hard against Leeds like 2 days ago. That team is going to be tired and done for. At least that's my assessment. And so I'm not confident in that game at all.
What about Leeds West Brom? Leeds might smash West Brom.
Yeah, so Leeds West Brom, yes, that is the big game, right? So that anything could happen. Like that could be a crazy game. But then what
Even
else?
the pool game is going to be a big game. The pool Palace game will also be a big game.
So pool, if they score 2-0, for example, if they go like 1 or 2,
they'll sit
they
back.
will just try and control the game, right?
Yeah.
So
I
There's
don't
no
think
need
so.
for them
I
to
think
go.
Pool will go for it.
Pool will go. I think Klopp goes for it. Klopp is not going to
Klopp,
be like,
Klopp is not that kind of guy. Klopp will go for it.
And they will smash Crystal Palace.
okay,
like
I guess,
4-0.
but the thing with pool, I guess, is also like I'm not thinking so much from an FPL perspective for them because like I already have 3 pool players. Wagner's already has Salah and Trent as well. So like when I was looking at his team, I was like, there's not a lot of difference. He can get
Who else do you have,
Mane.
Sham? Mane?
I don't have Mane, so I wish I had Mane, but I don't. So, but I'm not going to get him either. And so if unless Wagner does something crazy like Salah to Mane, which I don't think he needs to take that kind of a risk.
Yeah,
But
I have 1 transfer. How many do you have?
I have 2, but I have a goalkeeper situation which is very messy right now,
Okay.
so, which is very annoying too.
Wait,
Yeah,
why do you have a
go back
goalie
to the
situation?
Are
games.
you expecting Pickford not to play?
No, I expect him to play, but it's City. Like I'm like fine.
Yeah,
He'll get some points, whatever. But okay, like it's an
I don't
injury.
think, Sham, you're going to make a goalie transfer though. Like
Well,
that's
I'll tell
wasting.
you. No, I'll tell you. The only reason I was thinking about that was because I have 3 lead spots already. So if I sell Melia, just like you were talking, if I sell Melia, then I have space to get in like a Bamford. So that was the
That
only
might be a
reason
good
I'm
pick.
thinking of it. Yeah, but
So
go back to the games.
actually,
So tell me, like, which other games you think can be like big open games? Where is the
So-
hat trick in this season, in this week?
As Vikas said, Arsenal might be open.
I don't have.
Don't you think
confidence
Laka
of
will
the
start
other
if Laka
players.
is going to get sold in the summer? Don't you think he'll get a start this game week?
I think not how I've seen Arteta manage teams in the past. So I don't think that playing one game will really impact Laka's selling value. It's not. It might damage it further. But and also given that Arsenal have something to play for, and also he does not fit in our most. So if Arsenal play 3 at the back with Bellerin and Tierney both starting, I don't know if Tierney is starting, but if Tierney starts, then Laka gets
Bellerin is
benched.
also not fit, so it's going to be Chambers, right?
It'll probably be Chambers, and I think Chambers versus Bellerin.
Yeah, it's fine.
These days is like a like for like. So, but if both of them start, then you do need someone like an Aubameyang and then he'll probably start with a pivot of Thomas Partey and Xhaka, who's fit again, which means having and with Lacazette dropping deep, it does not make sense. So you might start with an Emil Smith Rowe, Saka, Aubameyang, and a Pepe front 4, which suits.
All this, yeah, I get all the tactic talk, etc. But the point is, they get all these tiny boys on the field and they don't do anything. Like that's been the story for a while
And
now.
there's like
And
super
Brighton-
unreliable. Like
Yeah,
we're
and
not gonna bet
Brighton is a
on that
good team.
Arsenal asset.
Brighton
No
is a
way.
good team. We are not talking about.
Yeah.
If they're playing Fulham or something, I can see that. But otherwise, I'm like, really, is there a hat trick there somewhere? Maybe Pepe.
I can see it being 3-3. I can see Mope getting a hat trick and this being a 3-3 game or something. Arsenal, Brighton.
The problem with Brighton is that they don't have Trossard, they don't have Welbeck. So their counter-attacking game and the ball possession. Welbeck is out, so is Trossard. So if they don't keep possession up front, like I don't expect a Neil Maupay to I mean, he's done that in the past against Arsenal, but I don't expect
needs 100 shots to score 3 goals.
Exactly, which means Arsenal are going to have a lot of possession, which means you will see crosses coming from the wing. You will see these dribbles for Pepe. You will see, Oba also getting inside the box. And those games are not very conducive for someone like a Laka. So which is why I'm saying that there might be a potential chance for Arsenal getting hat-trick, but well documented. Let's leave that. I do okay. Looking at differentials, right? Like differential games with the narrative that Rohit was talking about. Wolves, Nuno's just announced that he's leaving. Last game for a club. He's pretty much a club legend at this point. So is Crystal Palace. And I mean, Roy Hodgson is.
They
This
had a
is going to
send
be
off
his.
last week. They are done. They are going to sit down.
But this is his last game, and he is playing his former club, which did not really like him. And you have an informed Benteke who, if he's fit, will start. You have a Zaha who has a point to prove against a Liverpool who will look to get those one or two goals against a maybe rocky Matt Phillips and whoever the second defender. I'm not saying that one of those
So-
teams will get a
Yeah. So
big score.
because I get the thing about, okay, anybody can do anything. It's the last week and there will be narratives and all kinds of stuff happening. I'm looking at like which games have 6 goals in them. And that is like, because you asked me what I think about Vikas's team, right? The main thing I was thinking of,
Harshad's.
like, look at the Harshad's team. So like he's got three United players, which who knows what's going to happen there. Okay, so that is, I don't know whether he'll start Henderson or not, but he's got 3 United players and Wolves last game, blah blah blah. But Wolves can't score also, so who knows? So that's like a wild card. Then Mount and
What do you think about Wan Bissaka, Sham?
what do I think about him? I mean, I think he has to start because who are we going to play there, Yuri?
Right?
But it doesn't even matter. I guess not.
I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
he
this is
played
also
Tuanzebe or someone there on the right back.
yeah.
Yeah, he could do anything like that, but I really don't know, man.
He won't risk these guys 3 days before Europa. We have absolutely nothing to play for, not even the position.
Yeah,
The
and even our
second
first
position is
11
fixed now.
Our first 11 also loses to Wolves away. So, like, realistically speaking, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. So those like United players, I'm not going to get them, and I know Vikas has 3 of them. So like whatever happens, happens.
Harshad has 3 of
Yeah.
them. I know you want me.
Vikas, you didn't
I know
talk.
you want me to be in the finals. I think I've made
no,
this.
I like finals versus Watkins. He's so cool and chill. It's nice to. just play.
Actually, look at him. Like he's probably drinking in his. What are you doing, Harshad? Pan your camera. Show us your new house.
I'm at a friend's house.
Who is this friend?
What is this?
Not Vikas.
Is
obviously.
it your drug dealer?
Not me.
It's like some zebra art and all of that. It looks very pretty.
Yeah. Okay. So then back to
Right.
the next thing, like Wakia, you've got Iheanacho, who is such a like I feel these are 2 teams I hate the most, Leicester and Spurs. They're playing each other, and I watch a lot of their games. So I'm the worst person to be able to make a decision about this. But I feel like I'm going to bring in Iheanacho, honestly. I think Leicester need to score. He is their best player. Spurs are bad, like bad. I don't care about narratives, all of that. Ryan Mason is not a manager. He's like just ball boy, whatever the other players are telling him. He's, he played Harry Winks last time. He's like, okay, Winks is not going to get to play in the Premier League ever again. I'll play my best 30-40. So like I don't. Spurs suck. So I do think Leicester can go after them. But then Brendan Rodgers is that conservative, boring manager. So
What do you get Nacho in for?
one of DCL or Ings. Yeah, one of DCL or Ings. So I do think I want to get Iheanacho, but at the same time, I'm like,
Actually, you know what,
That's
Sham?
my
Another
read on-
game with 6 goals. I was thinking was West Ham versus Southampton. I know both teams generally set up defensively, but this is the last game. West Ham have something to play for. Southampton has not, but I do feel like this might.
Yeah, that game could end up like that. I just think Southampton are too tired, like will be too tired after and it's not a home game for them, right? Like if it was the other way around, I think there's potential. But you're right, because both teams can be like pretty leaky at the back, and it can be a messy game, definitely.
I would not sell Ings if you've kept him until this point, because he's probably looking for a transfer. I know last game really won't change his valuation, but he might have an outside chance of making the England squad if something happened to Kane as the veteran striker.
Yeah, those are like way too many ifs and buts for me to rely on. Like Ings, I got him on my wildcard 2 weeks ago. In 2 weeks, he's given me 1 point each. So
The question, Sham, is are you willing to bet and start Foden?
I don't need
Because
to.
that
I can start him, and if Foden doesn't play, fine. Yeah, I have decent enough bench. I set up my team like decently enough. I know I have 15 players, except that Melier, like I didn't expect Bielsa to play a racist goalkeeper instead of this guy. So
wait, what's racist about Casillas?
that's why he got like dropped last season and all. There was a big controversy and stuff because of his
Oh,
race.
I did not read
Anyway.
about that.
Anyway, so yeah, so except for that, I'm fine. Like if Foden doesn't start.
Interesting. All right, Harshad, time to turn on your camera, go on unmute, and discuss Sham's team and what you are going to do. Oh wow, you're already outdoors.
Yeah, I'm going back home, so I'm going to be in the car. And
Hi, Kaval.
She can't hear you, but
This is how lightly he takes the whole thing.
I
Like,
know.
he's getting into my car and
11
driving
o'clock on
around.
Friday night. What did you think? Like you were expecting me to be like,
Well, it's the same time for me. Look at me. I'm at home.
I got my laptop stand out for you, okay? I'm not just sitting on my sofa. My laptop stand is out. And this is how serious you're taking it. Disbar him, Admin.
Yeah, I think
I have
he
thought
even
more
deserved
about
to be in the finals.
I have not thrown a single, maybe like 1 out of 37 games. Like I've not changed my team. Okay, this is like,
Okay, so Vaknis, I don't know if you can see the screen, but
I can.
okay. So talk about Sham's team if you are even in the right
Yeah.
frame of.
No, I can see
Okay.
it. So I think, like, honestly, it's gonna be triple captain, right? No matter what you say.
Oh no,
Like
your thing is connected to here.
I think it should.
Oh, God.
Oh man, he obviously doesn't care. Anyway, why don't I do a quick dissection of Sham's team based on what I could study.
Yes.
So Robertson, I think is a sure shot in. I don't think you're going to touch any of your Liverpool guys. Your West Ham guys are going to stay the same. Again, I would transfer Melier out and potentially get a Bamford, but not for Ings. I would get him for Calvert-Lewin. I think that's a really good pick. Sham, although
The time I did it, the 10 times I did it, I was like, there's no fucking way. But then my teacher moved up here, so then it was just like, I do it every week.
Don't worry, I muted him.
okay. So Sham, I think both of you are pretty neck and neck in this case, and I also feel like you have very few captaincy options unless you want to go for the differential like a Son who might you're probably not. And then knowing how you play, I think
Spurs are bad.
yeah.
Son hasn't done anything for ages. He might still score because like this is the game where if Leicester attack, it's the perfect game for Spurs because it's a counter attack.
Like, we're stopping halfway through because I don't think this genius.
Well,
Oh my god.
yeah, so it might turn out to be a good game for them, but I can't rely on it. I don't think.
So I suspect that you'll also go for your Salah triple captain.
Yeah, Salah or Trent.
Trent. Ooh, ballsy move to go for a defender triple captain. And
Wait,
and
so
who do
I
you
was
think?
gonna say,
He's like a midfielder anyway.
Harshad, you're back.
yeah, yes, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's midnight
I was
and I'm
gonna-
sitting at
so
home.
the only change that I was considering was honestly Bamford.
Yeah, that's what. So if you get Bamford for Iheanacho and I get Iheanacho, I really like my man. That's the thing.
Well, what about Antonio, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not
I
that
don't think
convinced about the West Ham Southampton game being like this big free scoring. Like,
Not free scoring, but like if anyone gets like, I don't think you can sell Antonio before Southampton. I mean, fine. I'll be happy if you do, I guess. But
Yeah.
like I was when I was doing the like thinking, I was like, he might sell Garnacho for Bamford, and I might get
Garnacho, I
Garnacho.
just
So
feel like
that would be
Leicester.
like the perfect matchup of people,
Yeah.
are selling this, buying the same player.
I am pretty like optimistic about Garnacho, honestly, because like Leicester have.
Yeah.
He's probably in the tunnel somewhere. It's okay. I like Sham, because you really wanted me to play in the finals. We can boot him out, and I could sub in. Just
Yeah,
say the word.
he deserves it. He's like had a
What?
1 point
What?
win.
He
He's had a
deserves
one
it.
point win. He's had a goals conceded win. I don't know how he's
Hey,
gonna
I
win.
was
This
so.
is coin toss win. This fine.
He absolutely did. So, freaking Pickford had 60 minutes to get a shot on target and save it. That did not happen.
That was very crazy.
Yeah, I know. But
Ridiculous.
they're
So,
like every week there are all these small things
I
which
know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. But yeah, I was intently watching that game. Anyway, so we've already hit the 1 hour 20-minute mark. It does seem like I'm actually really excited about the regular playoff finals, because very closely fought. I think both your transfers are essential. I think I can safely say that both of you are going to triple captain a Liverpool player. Let's say they all cancel each other out somehow. Sham might go for the differential Trent or Salah. I think Wagner's probably, also knowing how Wagner plays, he'd probably just go for a Salah. So they'll probably cancel each other out.
Wagner might
The
go.
Iheanacho, what? Bamford may not be a bad pick. However, it is the
I'm
last game,
pretty.
and
Yeah, a Leeds asset is like a safer bet, I think, than I don't know, not safer, but like I'm
which Leeds
considering it
asset?
equally.
Because
Bamford,
Last
yeah, it would
Bamford,
most likely be Bamford.
First
Yeah,
time
not
Leeds.
Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't
first
think I
time
would
Leeds.
risk.
Bowl whenever you can bowl.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I don't think I would risk like triple captaining Dallas. That's too much. I think I would do like Bamford.
Yeah.
I think Rodrigo is also in good form, so you never know who goes crazy. Maybe it is Rodrigo who scores a couple of goals this time.
Yeah. You think there's any chance Bamford doesn't start and Rodrigo starts? No, right? Like it's the first home game in what 18 years or whatever for them in the
Exactly.
Premier League.
Yeah.
I do think Bamford will start, but if he plays alongside Rodrigo, and if Hernandez starts his final
Hernandez will
game,
start. Hernandez is
if
definitely.
Hernandez starts, then in that case, Hernandez can be
Rodrigo
yanked
cannot
off
start.
early.
Yeah, Rodrigo will get subbed on. The same. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same lineup. We know the lineup.
Yeah, but the only problem is he's actually subbed Bamford off before the 60th minute, and if he thinks Bamford is not playing well, Bielsa will not really care if Bamford is going for the English spot or the England squad, or like, is Bamford even capable of catching Salah or Kane in Golden Boot?
No.
I didn't check.
No.
No chance.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
so that's the
Yeah,
only
I
worry.
don't think that's really.
And Bamford also probably will not be on penalties if Hernandez is on the pitch.
I don't know that. I don't know. Did Hernandez used to take penalties all the time? Okay.
He did. Hernandez or Cleach.
Yeah, but he's not
And
there.
he's out. So that's my only worry. I don't know. Like Rohit, seriously, I'm not playing mind games, but Rafinha, if I do get him in, is a serious consideration for my captaincy.
Yeah.
Because
But again, I think
anyway,
him and Harrison are like too close to call. You know?
Yeah.
Who gets points here?
Yeah. युरी एकदम अभ्यास करतोय बघ नोटबुक मध्ये काहीतरी लिहितोय.
Yuri is planning my dinner menu with him right now.
Oh.
Anyway,
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Taking notes. All right. Let's try to wrap it up with a very quick 2-minute summary of what you're planning to do. Let's start with Yuri, Shikhar. Let's go in order. Yuri.
As you guys were talking, I was thinking about, do I need to drop Cavani and bring in somebody else, like a Firmino or something? I don't know. I've dropped the idea of dropping Kane. I'll keep him, but then maybe I'll try to add more firepower and might consider a 4-point hit, but I'm not sure. Or I might just leave my team as is.
Oh,
Good. Those are all good moves. I'm glad that this conversation actually helped. Shikhar?
So I didn't consider KDB till you spoke about him. I didn't even realize he's back fit. So that may be an option. Considering it's not going to be a -4. But yeah, I'll probably be confused between Sterling, KDB, and Mane because I have only two
Sterling is
six
actually a
and
good option. We're overlooking Sterling, and this might be he's been really shit throughout, but
this season. And this is the last game before Euros, and he really wants to be there. So I think he's going to give it a shot, and he's definitely
I
starting.
think is Sterling's Euro spot in contention?
no.
Not at all.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't
He's the
think
first
so. But
guarantee.
in the Euros, you think he'll play every game? Will he start every game?
In that England setup,
I'm-
I think so.
Yeah. Who else is there? Nobody.
I think he can start
Grealish.
Foden instead of Sterling.
Oh yeah,
Grealish.
they
Or
do have
Grealish.
options. That's true.
I think this one game is not going to change that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think like he's going to.
Yeah, but he's still not going to give it up, right? I
Yeah.
think Sterling will give it his all, and I think he will definitely start. He is one of the favorites to take that Fernandes spot for me. And other than that, I hope Phillips is fit, and I hope Madison plays the entire game. I still will think about replacing Madison, maybe with a Torres. I don't know. I'll have to research a little bit more for that.
Yeah. Shikhar, I want to say, Abhi, your backboard, your bed's backboard reminds me of dairy milk, and I'm really craving dairy milk right now. It looks like a gigantic bar of dairy milk in the back. Anyway, but good on that. Sterling, KDB, really good shouts. I'm considering them myself now. Rohit.
Yeah, I'm gonna shift out at least one of the two Manu boys. I'm not really keen on taking a 4-point hit because that will leave the difference between us to just 16 points. So I'm still not decided whether it's going to be Bruno or Cavani. I'm pretty sure Cavani doesn't start, but I don't see any strikers who are in red hot form right now to replace him. So I think it's mostly going to be Bruno. And the 2-3 players that we mentioned, one of them will replace him. And I have a couple of players whom I didn't discuss because we ran out of time. So
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can talk about them right now. That's fine. Who were you thinking about? Actually, to your point about red hot strikers in red hot form. I mean, you don't have Antonio nor do you have Bamford. Those are the two most obvious
but
picks
I
this
have
week.
3 leagues there, so I can't. I can't get Bamford in. And Antonio somehow, I think he's always he played 4 days back, so he's a guy who always needs enough rest to get back to his best. I mean, I think somehow he is not a guy who can recover very quickly.
Fair enough.
That's my impression. Yeah. So I'm not keen on getting him too. So I think it's going to be one of these 2-3 players like Ferran Torres or maybe Mount or Pulisic or Pepe, yeah, to replace Bruno.
Chris Wood is the other guy I was looking at in terms of forwards because I do want to change around. And he's playing Sheffield. He's good. I like him. But
Who did you say, Sham?
Chris Wood?
Oh, yeah. Burnley.
लगेच हर्षद वाकरेसला वुड म्हणाल्यावर ऐकू आलं. He's like, oh, Wood is going to lift my team now. Sorry, bad joke.
Nice, Vikas.
No, but the thing is, with Chris Wood, I think they have a couple of strikers who didn't play a lot. I think it is that Rodriguez and who's that other guy, that old guy.
Yeah, but no, I saw that, and Ashley Barnes got into a drunk driving thing. He got into a drunk driving thing, so he's going to be punished. So he's not going to play. So I think Wood starts basically.
Okay.
Or Vidra. I don't think Vidra and Rodriguez can play together.
Vidra, I had him till last week, and he has not done much. Maybe an assist here or there. So I don't think.
And Wood's like a fun player to watch, so it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Do you guys think this would be Sean Dyche's last game at Brighton? Oh, sorry, at Burnley.
Oh, really? Is there some gossip that he's supposed to?
There always is.
Of him going to Wolves is what I saw, like to replace him. Or no,
sorry, they're getting somebody from Portugal.
Yeah, not him to Wolves. Him to Palace is what I saw as one of the.
Might just Wolves to Palace, and also him to Arsenal.
I don't see why he would leave. Burnley is such a perfect club for him. They just work well, have fun, like full chill.
Yeah. Rohit, okay, very quickly, who were your two players?
Cavani and Rodriguez. either one of them out, and those midfielders, I think it's going to be Bruno mostly, and those 2-3 midfielders that we discussed already, one of them in. And I think I'm going to put the triple captain Ahmad on one of those guys. I'm not kidding.
No, that makes sense. I mean, like you hedge your bets, get a bounty week, and you're all through. I think I've already discussed my summary. We can move on to the game of the week. Sham.
I can go. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Harshad, go. Since you're capable of talking right now.
Yes, I'm capable. So I have like one transfer left, right? I think it has to be a Leeds player. I'm going to bring in probably Bamford, and I think triple. So I haven't decided yet, like for who. And I think like it's the triple captain is going to make a huge difference because that's our differential. I know you're saying like we will probably triple captain like the same person or a Liverpool asset, but I think a good triple captain will make all the difference. I might go with like a Lingard or something like that. Triple captain. I don't know.
Lingard basically carried Rohit's season. But he's been off form so far. That might.
He's still involved, like it's hard to have a West Ham goal without him.
Fair enough.
You think Lingard is looking for an England call-up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he has a chance.
Lingard for England? Wow.
I hope he goes. It increases his transfer price, and then maybe we can sell him to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, Lingard to Arsenal is.
Straight swap between Lingard and Sancho then.
Oh.
No, but Lingard to Arsenal is such a canonical move. This is like your exact. Mkhitaryan did not perform at Man U, played a couple of games, now came to Arsenal, and then I think he's at Roma. Isn't he under Mourinho again? For the
That's so sad for that poor guy.
I feel like Mourinho follows all these people. Like he followed Mata into Manchester United, now he's following Smalling and Mkhitaryan into Roma. It's very sad. But anyway, that's a good shout. Lingard actually for captain Harshad. You might really need to smoke up before you do that to ease the pain because I don't know how you're going to manage Lingard triple captaincy versus a Salah or a Trent. Sham.
I don't know. I think Lingard might be it's 1 week. It's 90 minutes of football. Luckily, all the games are happening at the same time. So there's no torture of sitting through incremental games. The way I see it, at the end of 4 billion years ago, humans appeared on this planet, and it's an unbroken chain leading for me into this final right now. Like the right people had to get killed, the right people had to screw each other. All of that had to happen for me to be in this final. So I'm ready to lose now.
Ready to lose. It would be a story to tell, Sham, if you lost your 5th final in a row. Or no, not 5th final in a row, but if you went trophy-less.
Stop making things up. He's like,
what?
You won the last one, right? The last final that you were in? Yeah.
No. Last year I lost to Vikas. The year before that, I don't know. I keep losing those finals. The only reason I want to win is so that Vicky can shut up about me not getting a boot.
Trophy.
Yeah.
All right. So very, very quickly, Sham and Harshad, you can mute yourself. But Yuri, Rohit, and Shikhar, who do you think out of Sham and Harshad, based on their teams, will win the title? I'm going to put you on the spot, and you have to pick a person based on the teams and not be diplomatic. Yuri.
If this is the team that Sham is going with like 5 defenders, and I don't know, it seems weird to me actually, his team. But I'm sure he'll rejig it before the game. Just going at these 2 lineups together.
These are not the lineup, Yuri.
Yeah, but they're last week's lineups, right? You don't have a wild card or anything like that.
Both have triple captain.
But then Harshad has too many Man U guys who are probably not going to do well. Okay, I'll go with Sham. I think he has some decent impact players. He has Son and Salah, which might help.
Next in my queue is Rohit.
Yeah, I also think Sham will win. I think Harshad has a couple of Manu players who might not play, and then a couple of duds like Nico Williams who won't help him off the bench. So I think Sham will win it.
Shikhar?
If Harshad goes for Lingard TC, then maybe Sham. Otherwise, I think Harshad has the upper hand.
I'm actually going to say Harshad because he has Kane, but if he picks Lingard as his triple captain, I say no. I'm saying Kane only because Kane is probably going to be his biggest differential this game week if he doesn't sell him. But yeah, I think odds are in Sham's favor. So what could go wrong, right?
How many coin tosses do we decide the title by when everything is tied?
So we should talk about this. For this particular season, the rules have not changed. Goals scored will still be regardless. It won't factor in the captaincy. So that's pretty clear. Goals conceded, every single playing player on your team, regardless of whether they're a defender or a forward, the goals conceded will be factored in. And for coin tosses, it will just be one coin toss. We'll have a similar Zoom meeting. I'll pull up my screen. I'll show you that it's a live screen or not a pre-recorded screen. The person with the most amount of purity points.
You know how coin toss works. But what do you?
No. But the person with the most number of purity points will get to pick heads or tails. And then I will roll the coin, virtual coin, and that's how it will be decided. But I hope it doesn't get there. I find those very I think it's just a challenge, like looking through all these scores, manually calculating them, and doing that across 10 matches is going to be impossible.
But what if you screw up the coding of the virtual coin and it doesn't work? Then what happens? Which is likely to happen.
Thankfully, it's my employer, and why don't I demo it?
No, this is not enough.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
So, anyway, guys, it's been extremely
fun season, and I'm glad I'm even in the final after my worst season ever. So that's fun.
Lot of that band going on.
Yeah, and good job.
What was that?
I have to say, newbies have been great. Shikhar and Rohit,
seriously.
Awesome.
Damn, good job, yeah. I actually shout out to Ankit because I'm sure we might get another view, which was probably just Ankit. He was on just because he's invested, not because he doesn't have anything to do. I never said that. Very invested, head to head, almost won it. Went down to the wire, lost to goals conceded, that to random goals conceded by his team. Lingard conceded a couple, which was strange, but anyway, goals conceded to Harshad. And he was never in the purity fight, but he's made some very rocking decisions. So I have to say, had Harshad lost to Ankit, we would have had 3 newcomers and 3 old fogies in the group. And I have to say, good recruits, but also freaking Rohit, man, had you not been here, purity would have been sealed by me. I really needed some ego booster, because I think Sham's number 3 and he's at least 100 points behind me. There's no way he's going to catch up. But anyway, this competition is really good. Maybe he'll come up with an ESL structure where the big guns battle it out. I hate this competition though. Guys, thanks for joining. Almost an hour 40 minutes, but this was fun.
This was fun, yeah.
A lot of fun.
Good job.
All the best over the next 24 hours.
Good job.
Speak to you soon. Harshad, make it home safe.
Thank you. Super fun, guys. Thanks.
Don't try to second guess me or something.